Hello everyone, my name is Fatima and welcome back to the race edit. Oh my goodness, you guys. Australia. What even was Australia? I don't even know where to start. I'm just first of all, I'm so happy I stayed up for that race. Mind you, in my time zone, the race started at 12 a.m., so it's not like I stayed up that late, but I'm still very sleepy. But that's besides the point. Oh my goodness, wow. What a race. What a race. A race was had. That's all I can say. A race was had. I feel like that's my theme that's my saying for every race. I'm always like, well, a race was had, and it was. So how this works is typically I'll go through qualifying and I'll go through who went out in Q1, who went out in Q2, and then the Q3 results. But honestly, if I'm gonna be completely honest with everyone, I fell asleep after Q2. It was 1 a.m. Okay, your girl was tired. Your girl was tired. So Q2, so once Q2 happened, Hamilton was out. I was like, well, I saw what I needed to see. No, I'm kidding. But actually though, it just kind of all happened. Hamilton went out in Q2 and I was just like, whoo, sleepy. So I went to bed. So we're not really going to talk about what happened in qualifying, but we will talk about what happened throughout the entirety of the weekend because I feel like some things need to be discussed and I'm happy to discuss them. Hopefully you will all stay and listen. But let's just jump right into Sunday's race, today's race, because wow. How this works is typically, like I said, I go through qualifying and then I go through all the teams. I start from the bottom up, so whoever came last to whoever finished P1. And interesting. Very interesting. We had a Red Bull DNF from a certain number one driver named Max Verstappen. When was the last time Verstappen DNF'd? That was insane. I remember that was just actually insane. Just watching it happen in real time because Carlos took the lead and then I was like, oh my God, Carlos took the lead. I was like, okay, this is great. Can he hold on to the lead? And then all of a sudden, smoke starts coming out of the back of Max's car. And I remember I was like, I must be dreaming this. This can't be happening. And then literally 2 seconds later, the commentator was like, is that smoke coming out of Verstappen's car? And I was like, OMG. Literally. I was like, oh my goodness. Is this the moment that we see Max's winning streak come to an end again at the hands of Carlos Sainz? Sorry. We'll get to Sainz when we get to Sainz. I'm just excited. Yeah, that was absolutely insane. And then just seeing him come down and seeing cars overtake him. Oh, it was quite cathartic. I remember in Singapore last year, just seeing all the cars overtake Max. I was like, hold on, run it back. Let's see it again. And that's no shade to Max. He's killing the game right now. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. But sometimes when the same person keeps winning, you do want to see the excitement of them coming back down and having others have a fighting chance. It's very fun to see. That's how Singapore felt for me and that's how Australia felt for me as well. But karma comes at you fast. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So we had a Max DNF, which was a big shock. I've never seen a group of fans collectively cheer someone's DNF like that. I think it was just needed. Genuinely, I actually do think it was just needed. I don't know. I think that it sucks, but hey, it is what it is. That's the name of the game, right? And then we had Perez P5. And I mean, yeah, he didn't really make much moves. I don't know, P5, I was like, okay. What Perez's P5 told me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one because others have talked about it too, is that without Max in that Red Bull, would they have been as dominant as they were last year? I don't think so, and that's crazy to say, but that's kind of what the Perez P5 told me. And then Checo did say that even if Max was racing, Carlos Sainz still would have won. And I don't know if that's just trying to save face or whatever, but the track record shows a little bit different, unfortunately. So this was just a bad weekend for Red Bull overall, and I'm hoping, DNFs aside, I'm hoping that in future races, we'll be able to see more teams take the lead ahead of Max, take the lead ahead of Red Bull, and actually put on a fight, because that's the point of racing. You want to see racing. But yeah, I'm really hoping that this could mean positive results for the future of this season, because boy do we need it. And speaking about the future of the season, let's talk about my good old friend Mercedes. What is there even to say about Mercedes right now at this point? Being a Lewis Hamilton fan in 2024 is actually just not a good time. And I'm able to be a fan of Hamilton and also criticize him too. His qualifying is not the best. It's something that he definitely needs to work on. But one thing about Lewis Hamilton is I don't doubt him, because I know doubting Hamilton just doesn't sound like a good idea. Why? Because he's proven time and time again that even if he doesn't have the best car in the grid, by the end of the season, he will bring in the results that need to be brought in. And he's shown that, and he's proven that time and time again. That DNF was crazy. I was watching the race. The cameras weren't panned to Hamilton at that point. I can't remember who they were showing, but the peripheral of my eye, I could just see him going down, down, down. I shot up. I was like, what's happening? Like, calm down. Or relax, Fatima. Okay, but I was like, oh my goodness, you're joking. We just had a Max DNF and you're telling me that we're gonna have a Hamilton DNF in Australia? This is insane. I was like, who's next? Alonso? Because it seems to be taking out championship winners right now. And technically Alonso also did get bit by Australia too, but we'll get there as well. Yeah, that was insane though. It was like his engine. It was just like game over. And I was like, wow, this weekend just went from worse to worser for Hamilton. And as a Hamilton fan, oh my, it just wasn't fun. It just wasn't fun. And I just want so much, and I just want so much better. And I think my thing is, it's like, I know he's going to produce the results that need to be produced. I'm like, okay, it's the first 3 races. Yes, he could be better, but I don't know. Something's not clicking. You remember last season when George was just really struggling and then all of a sudden it felt like something clicked? Like, it happens and it sucks. But if your car is not doing well, there's only so much the driver can do. And then you start getting dejected because your car is not doing well, so you're not producing the results that you want to produce. And then there's all these other outside factors that are just coming your way. And it's just really, it's just a lot. And George, on the other hand, he did qualify better than Hamilton. He has been ahead of Hamilton for the past 3 races. He has understood, it seems to be that he has understood the car, the concept of the car a bit better so far. But my issue is that if the car is only producing qualifying results of P7 and P11, that's not good enough. Not for a championship winning team. That team has 8 championships under their belt, and if this is the best result that they could produce, it's just not good enough. I hate to say that. I really, really do. But they've got to figure it out. And every week that I watch every new race, I understand Hamilton's decision to leave. But again, we'll talk about that in the end. George's crash was so scary. At first, I don't even, you know when something's just so shocking, you're like, what? That was literally my initial reaction. I was like, huh? Because it was so reminiscent of Singapore. Again, I don't know what it is, but why is it that every single time that Carlos Sainz wins, George Russell crashes? I just feel like maybe for George Russell's sake, Carlos Sainz needs to stop winning. But that sounds like a George Russell problem, really. But no, that crash was really, really scary. Hearing him beg for a red flag was insane. And then it was just as scary when you heard Lance Stroll's on board of his race engineer telling him, yellow flag, safety car, George is in the middle of the track. Like, whew, that was not fun. That was, first and foremost, he's okay, and really and truly, that's all that matters. That, yeah, racing is fun, but as long as everyone comes out okay, that's really and truly all that matters. So we're so thankful that he's okay. But he crashed. And Alonso got a penalty for that. For brake checking or whatever. It was just absolutely gnarly. That's all I can say. And double DNF for Mercedes. And maybe, honestly, maybe this is the breaking point for them to get their stuff back together. Maybe they needed this, they needed a wake up call, honestly, because it's just ridiculous at this point. I don't know how you can go from here to literally here. It's ridiculous. So here's to hoping that this is the wake up call Merc needed. Let's stop doing crazy setup changes right before a race also on Hamilton's car. Like, I know he agrees to it, allegedly. I don't know. I just made that up. But let's just, if your car is good in FP1 and is giving you great results, yeah, let's keep it that way, please. Let's keep it that way. I know it's early. I wonder if it's because it's early days that they're just like, hey, it's early days, so all is well. But no, bad idea. I don't like that. Moving on to Alpine. Oh, Alpine. It's been, there's not much I can say about Alpine. Like, every single race so far, it's just been like, I forget that they're there. And that's so sad. Ocon made it into Q2, and for qualifying, Ocon made it into Q2, and he was so happy. You know how insane that is? Ugh, Alpine. I don't, yeah, we had Ocon P16, Gasly P13, and that's the best that Alpine could do. I don't even know who's worse right now, Alpine or Kick Sauber. Like, Alpine, in my mind, because they should be fighting in the midfield and they're not, that's what makes it like, man, these guys suck right now. Kick Sauber is just, I don't know what they're doing over there, to be honest. They're playing like, I don't know what they're doing. But Alpine, do better. And speaking of Kick Sauber, let's just jump right into Zhou Guanyu P15, Valtteri Bottas P14. What is going on with the pit stops over there? What? It's been back-to-back races where they've just had really bad pit stops, and then they had 2 bad pit stops in Australia, one for Bottas, one for Zhou. It's just what I genuinely don't understand, and I want to understand. I don't get it, and I'm just like, the drivers are doing what they can with the car that they have, and then Bottas could have potentially been in the points until he had a really bad pit stop. And then Zhou also just had a really bad pit stop. And like, it reminds me of, oh man, I can't even remember what season it was when Haas, but was it Australia also when Grosjean? I think it was Australia. It was, Grosjean had a pit stop, but then something had happened with the car. He DNF'd. And then, was it Magnussen who also DNF'd? And Gunther Steiner was just like, what the F? And that's how I feel about Kick Sauber right now. What is going on? And like, there's just no reason for you guys to be having really bad pit stops each race and then having double, both your drivers have equally just as bad. It's just painful. I'm pretty sure Ocon also had a really bad pit stop this race. I feel like I made that up, but that happened, right? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm like 90% sure Ocon also had a bad pit stop. Not as bad as Kick Sauber's, but his was also not so good either. But what can you do? Yeah, those 2 teams especially, I don't know what's going on. I'm really, again, it's early days, so I'm really hoping that the fact that it's early days means that, okay, let's just work out all of our kinks, and then come the 4th race, maybe things will pick up. I don't know. I like to live, I am a glass half full rather than a glass half empty kind of person. I love to see the positive side of things, and I'm always just like, come on, pick yourselves back up. And maybe that's not so good sometimes, but I'm just always like, I just want the best for everyone. And I know, obviously I want the best for my teams mostly, for my drivers mostly, but I hate when these things happen. It just, it's not the best, is it? No. Let's go on to RB. Daniel Ricciardo P12, Yuki Tsunoda P7 after the penalties. Alonso's penalty, should I say. That's the only penalty. Oh, Yuki Tsunoda is like, he's so funny to me because he keeps getting slept on, and there's no reason for him to keep getting slept on because he's proven time and time again that he's a pretty good driver. And like, he's outperformed his teammates. The guys give him teammates and he outperforms them, but for some reason people still think he's not worthy of a better seat. I don't think he's gonna get that Red Bull seat, I'm not gonna lie, but he's shown that like hey, Checo got P5. Yuki got P7. I'm just saying. Ricciardo's P12. Ricciardo hasn't. Yuki has outperformed Daniel Ricciardo their entirety of the season, and at this rate, it feels like it's gonna keep going that way. I'm sure Daniel Ricciardo is gonna. I don't know. It's just like with Hamilton right now. Something's just not clicking. But really, for Daniel, I think. I don't know. Is it weird to? I think the way that Daniel came back into the sport, the intentions were never to be with RB. It was always to get that Red Bull seat, and with that, it was a lot of pressure on himself, and also just like you are so lucky to be racing in Formula One. Sure, you've been doing it for 10, I don't know, 10 plus years. Yeah, sure, you've been doing it for 10 plus years, but it's a privilege really to be racing in this sport. So I don't know really where I'm going with this, but I just feel like maybe it's more so like he knows he's not where he needs to be, but it's also like focus on where you are right now and focus on the car that you have beneath you right now and not on the car that you potentially could go to, because hey, you might not even get that shot. You might not even get that shot, and that's just my take on it. So RB, I still don't know what I think about that car. I don't know. I feel like every week I'm shocked. I don't know. Every week I'm like, what can RB do for us? I don't know. And then Yuki Tsunoda gives us a P7 and I'm like, heck yeah, Yuki. That's exactly what we needed. Alrighty. Then let's go to Williams. Alex Albon, the only Williams driver this weekend. Well, sorry, the only Williams driver this race, because there is 2 Williams drivers. Just one of them didn't race. Alex Albon, P11. I made a video about this. I made a little TikTok about this the other day. Honestly, with the way things happened, I don't know if points were in the card for Albon. I don't know if points were in the cards for Albon at all this race. It's been a whirlwind for Williams since they got to Australia. Albon crashed in FP1. It was his error, and then Williams decided, hey, our best chance at points is probably Albon. So Logan Sargent, thank you for your service. Give your car to your teammate. And in my TikTok, I mentioned, yeah, it's harsh. It's really harsh to do that. It just shows that maybe you don't have as much faith in the driver that you do. It shows that there's definitely clear 1-2 on your team. But it also makes sense because Albon has been the one who has been producing the points. Yes, he's the one who's crashed, but he's also the one who has been producing the points for Williams for the past, since last season. And while they don't have points yet this season, if they were going to bet on a driver, unfortunately, it does make sense that it was Alex Albon for Logan. My only caveat to that is like, this would have been a really great opportunity for them to be like, Logan, show us what you got. Show us that you can do this, that the team can rely on you when one of the cars is gone, when we only have one driver, and Logan didn't get that opportunity. So we never know. We don't know what could have happened. I don't think there would have been any points in the cars for Williams at all this race, but I think it would have been a great opportunity for Logan to prove himself. And I was rewatching FP1, FP2, and FP3, and I was wondering if, because I think Logan had 2 spins in FP2, and I wonder, or a lock up and a spin, and I wonder if that was kind of what made them decide, all right, we're not even gonna bother, we're just gonna give the car to Alex and hope for the best. And hey, he got P11. It's not in the points, but it could matter. It could matter that P11 could come in handy. That's pretty much the story of Williams. It's interesting because anyone who knows, if you've watched my videos, you know I'm a Williams fan. Like I'm always, like I've said before, I'm always rooting for the underdog, and I want the best for Logan. I really want to see him succeed. I really do, and I really want Alex to succeed also. So this hurt me when this happened. It was like I was personally affected, but I just don't know how how the team can carry on. Like, as I mentioned in my TikTok, there were a lot of hot takes about how people are seeing Alex in a different light. He should have declined. And I mentioned, at the end of the day, even if Alex did not want to drive Logan's car, he is a Williams employee at the end of the day. If your boss says, I need you to do this, you can say no. You can. It just might not end up well for you. And what driver is going to say no to racing in a Formula One Grand Prix? It sucks. It does suck. I get the business decision. But it sucks. Then we got Haas. Haas F1. Okay, back-to-back weekends in the points. Kevin Magnussen P10, Nico Hulkenberg, I almost said Nico Rosberg, that's crazy. Kevin Magnussen P10, Hulkenberg P9. All right, interesting little thing with Haas. Things have been going eerily well, and hopefully they can stay that way. The tire degradation is not an issue for them anymore, and since that's been a thing, they've been killing it. I was really happy to see Haas get double points. It sucked to see Alex Albon get overtaken by Kevin Magnussen because he was in 10th, but K-Mag just had the fresher tires, and there's only so much that you could do. I just don't, yeah, but good for Haas. That's all I can say right now. Like, they're each week they're showing that, hey, maybe we aren't the worst team ever. That's what it feels like. Maybe they aren't the worst team ever, and I'm really proud of them. I'm really more so happy that Kevin Magnussen got a P10. He didn't get any penalties. He didn't almost take someone out. I mean, Albon might say otherwise, but clean race for Kevin Magnussen. Good job. We're happy to see it. Okay, and then moving on to Aston Martin. So Alonso received a 20-second time penalty, putting him from P6 to P8, and that resulted in Tsunoda getting P7, Stroll getting P6. This penalty was given to him because of George Russell's crash. They were in a battle for, I think it was sixth. They were in a battle for sixth position. Russell was P7 behind Alonso, and if I'm correct, it just all happened so fast. Like, 1 minute they were racing, the next minute George Russell car was flipped to the side. Alonso, aside, I don't even know what to think about this, actually. I don't Stroll P6, Alonso P8. Honestly, you guys, I don't really know if I have many thoughts on Aston Martin so far for this season. Like I really just don't know where I stand with them. I don't even know where I stand with the car. It's one of those things where I'm just like, they're in the midfield. Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, they're in the midfield, they're producing midfield results, and good for them. I think because last year was just, they had such a high and then they went so low that, like, this is the best that they got, and that's okay, I guess. I mean, I'm sure Lawrence Stroll would be hoping for, Red Bull results, but yeah, I don't really know. I don't have so much thoughts on Aston Martin, I'm not gonna lie, unfortunately. This Alonso penalty, honestly, like I said, I'm just happy George Russell was okay. Alonso doesn't think he should have got the penalty. Some people think he should have got the penalty. The penalty was given. We move on. They're not gonna refute it. They're not gonna appeal it, should I say. They're not gonna appeal it. And that's that, really, for Aston Martin. And with that being said, let's get on to McLaren. Oh, McLaren. I think we always knew that this was going to be when I say we, I really mean me. I had good feelings for McLaren this race. I really, really, really wanted to see Piastri on the podium. Oh man, how great would that have been to see Piastri on the podium for his home race. I was hoping for a Piastri win, to be honest, and it could have happened. I mean, it didn't happen, and his teammate was faster than him, but hey, in my Unserious series, I was like, Piastri podium? Maybe? I don't know. Norris P3, Piastri P4. That's great results for McLaren, and I feel like McLaren, each race, they're like edging a bit closer and closer to the top, and I'm curious to see where they end up by the end of this season, but overall, great results from them, really. Yeah, and I'm just really excited to talk about Ferrari right now. Carlos Sainz, you freak. Carlos freaking Sainz. My goodness. Sorry. We had Leclerc P2, Carlos Sainz P1, a Ferrari 1-2. Oh, goodness gracious. That was so fun to watch. Charles had a great race. He still got P2. He was still able to hold off Lando Norris by the end, and that's really what they needed. But the Carlos Sainz, my goodness gracious. I had my appendix out when I was 16, and there's no way. There is no way that I could do half of what he just did. Good for him. Good for him. Like, anytime you go through surgery, and the recovery period, it's not fun. It's really not fun, the recovery period after surgery. But Carlos Sainz, and I'm also like, Sarah, I know you're fighting for your job, but like, also like, your health is very important too. Like, let that thing heal. It came in clutch though. He won the race. He did that so beautifully. I don't even have any words besides just great job from Carlos Sainz. He has proven many times that he is a great, great driver. Like, he has proven that he deserves to be driving on Formula One. No one can take that away from him. He is a force to be reckoned with right now, and I'm really happy that we're all able to witness it. So great job, Carlos Sainz. Great job, Ferrari. Great job, Fred Vasseur. Like, keep it up. Keep it up. Keep bringing the fight to Red Bull, please. We need it desperately, actually. Like, bring a fight, please. But yeah, I'm really, really happy, and it was a fun race. It was an interesting race because there wasn't so much like wheel-to-wheel action, but it was the fact that we had Verstappen out that just kind of flipped the script for everything, because people were just like, I think everyone was just like, oh great, another Verstappen win. And then all of a sudden this happened, and just, okay, could someone else potentially win? And we had Sainz win, but it was like, could there be a battle? Could McLaren do what McLaren needs to do? Could there be a Ferrari battle for that win? None of that happened, but hey, the opportunities, the options were endless, really. And that's pretty much Australia 2024. Australia, keep it up. Let's do it again next year, yeah? I like that idea. Keep it up. Okay, well, thank you all so much for taking the time and watching my video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy it, feel free to like and subscribe. Really up to you. I had a fun time making it, and that's that on that, and I will see you all in Suzuka. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.